I have this story I've never really told properly. It's about my completely chaotic journey into public speaking, how I got laughed at in front of a room full of strangers, completely embarrassed myself at a high-profile conference, and somehow still ended up speaking on different stages. And the weird thing is, every single humiliating moment taught me something that changed my life. My goal today is simple. I want you to walk away from this feeling brave enough to go after something you've been scared to try. Because here's what I learned. The things that terrify us the most are usually exactly what we need to be doing. So, let me tell you about my completely chaotic journey into public speaking and why getting rejected was the best thing ever happened to me. When I was 18, my mother was completely fed up with my behavior. To help me, she decided that this thing called Landmark Forum, a seminar on personal development, was going to fix whatever was wrong with me. Now, $200 for this seminar at the time was massive money for her. She was a single parent, and this was basically maybe more than a whole month's salary. I absolutely did not want to go. 4 days, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Seriously? But you don't argue with my mother when she's made up her mind. She's very persuasive, and when she wants something to happen, it happens. So there I was on day one, sitting in this room, completely annoyed with my entire life, wondering what these people are even doing. But then something shifted. After just a few hours, I was completely hooked. The facilitator was this older woman from Switzerland speaking in perfect English with a translator, and she was just commanding the entire room. When they invited people on stage to share something, I went up. I don't even remember what I said, but watching her up there, something clicked inside me. I looked at this woman and thought, this is it. This is what I want to do with my life. She travels from country to country, speaks to people, motivates them to change their lives. I was 18, and in that moment, my entire future shifted. Fast forward to my mid-20s. I'm scrolling through Facebook and I see this man impeccably dressed in a suit with one of those wireless microphones that goes from your ear to mouth. You know, the ones very sleek, very professional that speakers wear on stage? He looked absolutely stunning. I started watching his videos and I'm thinking, I want to be exactly like this. I could see myself with that microphone on stage helping people feel better about their lives. And honestly, I knew I was good at this. I'm naturally the person who makes people around me feel better, more confident, more resourceful. As well, I'm always pushing people to go after what they want. This is actually how I discovered Tony Robbins and realized, wait, this is a real career. This is something people actually do for a living. Now, here's where my personality comes in. I contact people like all the time, sometimes for advice if I see them doing something I would like to do and I need to know how. Sometimes I make proposals because I have such a creative mind and I see opportunities all the time. And sometimes to give advice they didn't ask for. Just recently, a few weeks back, I messaged this speaker on Instagram because he was wearing this beautiful tailored suits with waistcoat, very classy, but dropping F words in the content. I felt this such a powerful discrepancy between his image and the language that I felt compelled to give a free unwanted advice. And in a very polite, kind way, I told him, your brand doesn't match your language. He probably thought I was crazy, but I couldn't help myself not to do it. Coming back to our story, the one with the speaker on Facebook in my mid-20s, naturally, I messaged him on Facebook asking him, how do I become a speaker? I really want this. He replied, and his answer was, go to Toastmasters. I found the Toastmaster chapter, registered for a session, and showed up in my full glory. I was very fancy in my 20s, cute dress, high heels, looking absolutely adorable. I walk into this room, meet everyone, and when it's time for introductions, I stand up with my biggest smile and say, hi, I'm Ruxandra, and I'm here because I want to be a motivational speaker. The next moment, the entire room burst out laughing. I'm standing there thinking, what just happened? I wasn't being funny. I was just being honest about why I'm there. But they were laughing like I just stole the world's best joke. I sat through the rest of the session in shock. Afterward, the chapter president comes over, we exchange numbers, and later he messaged me. You know, it took me 7 years to get where I am. Being a motivational speaker is going to take many, many years. I'm looking at this message thinking, it took you 7 years to reach this level, and honestly, you are not even that spectacular. Like, he was good at delivering speeches, sure, but he wasn't the level that I wanted to reach. And now he's telling me it's basically impossible. I was shocked. You know what I understood in that moment? This place isn't for me. When something demotivates me completely, I walk away. I said, okay, thank you, and never went back. But here's the beautiful part of this story. That man from Facebook, we stayed in touch. A few years later, he actually gave me the opportunity and put me on stage. He trained me a little bit, believed in me, and I learned a lot from him. After that, I started seriously promoting myself as a motivational speaker. I figured if Tony Robbins says you get good by booking engagements every day, then that's what I'm going to do. I was invited to a speaker audition for an event. I went, I did great, got a job, they sent me to a conference, and from there, more opportunities came. But I was terrified giving those first speeches. When I wrote my first speech, I met a professional speaker and showed it to him. He said, "You're supposed to give a 5-minute speech, but you wrote a 30-minute script." "How do you know that?" I asked. "Word count. 5 minutes is about 500 to 600 words." "Oh, nobody ever taught me that." I learned so many practical things just by throwing myself into situations where I had no idea what I was doing. I was scared every single time, but I did it anyway. And people started telling me I was good. My story seemed to connect with people. After one of my speeches, a woman came up to me crying and said, "I felt like you were talking directly about my life. You really touched my heart." That's when you know you're making a real difference. I want to tell you about one conference that taught me the biggest lesson of my speaking career. I was in India and I was about to leave for the 1,500-kilometer trip I talked in episode 3. If you haven't seen episode 3, please go and watch it. And right before my trip, I had to speak at this high-profile conference. I'd been reading the autobiography of a yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda, and there is this story about when he went to America. He was asked to give a speech, but his English wasn't great, so he meditated and asked God and his gurus for help. He went on stage without any preparation, started speaking, and suddenly perfect English and speech was flowing out of him. He said he didn't even remember what he said. I thought, as I was also going through this spiritual transformation that I talk in episode 3, I'm going to do exactly that. I'll go to this conference and let God and Guru speak through me. I know for a sensible person this sounds completely insane, but I have this thing that makes me want to question things, to try them. As well, I like adventure, and what could be more adventurous than going to a high-profile conference unprepared? So, I prepared nothing, absolutely nothing. I arrived at this conference, go to my assigned room because different sessions were going on in different rooms, and there are tons of people there. Then, right before my session starts, everyone leaves, everyone. I'm standing at the podium with just a cameraman thinking, what do? I don't have an audience. Then the cameraman said, just give your speech. And I'm thinking, I don't even have a speech. So I started rambling about this India trip I was about to take. It was terrible. They're recording everything and I'm just completely failing. After I'm done, I said, let me do it again. I can do it better. The second time was slightly better because at least now I knew what I wanted to say. We finish, I'm about to leave, and this woman walks in asking, is the session over? Why? I ask. Because I came specifically to hear you speak. She was the only person who came for my session. Late, but she came. So I gave the speech one more time and it was actually really good. She was genuinely moved. We talked afterward and it was beautiful. Now, thinking in retrospect, I think this was an enormous luck not to have any audience there. Imagine rambling in front of a room full of people would have been total embarrassment. I believe I'm really blessed and protected. I think this was God's way of telling me, I'm not sending you any audience unless you put effort and prepare first. I also learned something crucial that day. I believe in spiritual guidance, but I also realized I'm not at the level where perfect speeches just flow through me. I need preparation and I will never go to a speech unprepared again. But I will always courageously go for any opportunity, even when I'm not fully ready, because you cannot get what you really want without courage. My speaking career has been a complete roller coaster. Every time I built momentum, life happened and everything crumbled. But looking back, I don't think what I had to say back then was really that valuable because I didn't have the life experience I have now. Before, I was doing it partially to shine. I wanted the spotlight. Sure, I wanted to help people, but honestly, a lot of it was about me. Now it's different. Now I have the knowledge and experiences that I genuinely want to share so people can learn from what I've been through. I've thrown myself into situations that were completely over my head, and I still do that, though I'm more selective about which crazy situations I choose now. Here's what I need you to understand. You have something the world needs to see. Right now, there's something you've been putting off because you're scared. That thing that makes your heart race, that's exactly what you should be doing. I used to think I needed to feel ready before I could act. But I've learned something crucial. You will never feel ready for the things that will change your life. Never. I wasn't ready when I walked into Toastmasters. I wasn't ready when I gave my first real speech. I wasn't ready for any of the opportunities that came my way. But here's the thing. Every single opportunity I've gotten came from doing something that scared me. Every connection, every stage, every moment that mattered happened because I said yes when I wanted to say no. That woman who came to hear me speak in India, she told me something powerful. Sometimes you show up and there's one person. Sometimes there's 1,000. But if you don't show up at all, you help nobody. You change nothing. You stay exactly where you are. I have this rule now that guides everything I do. If something scares me and I know it's good for me, I do it anyway. Not because I'm brave, but because I've learned that the discomfort of action is always temporary, but the regret of inaction lasts forever. So if you are afraid of public speaking, throw yourself out there and start speaking. If you're afraid of starting that business, take the first step. If you're afraid of having that conversation, pick up the phone. Stop waiting for the fear to go away. It won't. Stop waiting to feel confident. Confidence comes from doing, not from thinking about doing. The people you admire, the ones living the lives you want, they felt the same fear you feel right now. The only difference is they moved forward anyway. Life is too short to spend it wondering what could have been. Whatever you've been avoiding because you're scared, that's probably exactly what you need to do next. So feel the fear, acknowledge it, thank it for trying to keep you safe, then do it anyway. Because the person you want to become is waiting on the other side of that fear.